So let's go back before all that. You're just Albert Preciado. You're in Beverly Hills with your dad. He's a painter.
Yeah.
You'd walk around with him and you'd see these big houses. And you said you saw a Ferrari and you said, I want one of these. What'd your dad say?
He told me that it's not for us because, we're Mexican. We're minorities.
And he said, this isn't for us. This is for what? Who?
For the rich gringos.
So he was basically saying this is for the white folks.
Yeah.
The rich white folks.
Yeah. And no offense to white people, because I love white people. You're white, but that's what we think. Growing up, Mexican family, everybody we're limited. We don't believe we could do great things. We believe that we're meant to be, down here. We're never gonna make it. We're not Donald Trumps. We're not those kind of people. So we just gotta kind of stay low. So, and when I grew up, my family used to not like, like they call them gringos because they're bad and they're racist and they're this, and that was a big mistake. Not everybody is like that. Most of them are the nicest people, And then when I grew up, I started learning the reality of everything. And then I started saying, you know what, everything is not like I grew up with my family, my uncles, my aunts telling me things. So I started learning what it really was. And then I grew out of there. But my dad, I remember that like yesterday, I was there. And we go to this mansion. We live in the ghetto where they sell drugs and they shoot people. And we go to Beverly Hills to paint houses. I was 6 years old, and I always wanted to work. And I told him, take me with you, because like Italia wanted to come with me right now. And kids are like that. Kids believe they could do anything. Nothing is impossible. So I go with my dad, and I see this mansion, I see this red Ferrari, and I tell him, Dad, like, why don't we live here? Like, why are we living in that ghetto? Why don't you drive this car? Why do we drive this car? And he just looks at me, and he tells me, that's not for us. And I asked him, why? And then I told him, like, long story short, I want to make it. How do I do it? He said, as long as you don't quit, you'll get there. And you have to work harder than everybody else. So I learned work ethic. It stuck to me. And then also never quitting. Like, I've never quit in anything.
Ever?
Ever.
So after he told you that, how long until you, because I saw you in a picture where you had like dolphin shorts on a red Civic. You looked pretty funny back in the day. So it's been, back then you didn't have any loot. How long has it been between him telling you that and then you in that red Civic?
Well,
how old were you there?
Back then I was 18, about 18 years old, but I was always very driven and I had that ambition. But
so even from 6 to 12, even though
yeah, well, what
you had a Civic, you thought you were, did that hurt you at all?
No,
him telling you that.
You know what happened? Like I'm a big studier, so I like studying. Like I was studying a bunch of different religions, reading a lot of different books. I ended up going to a Scientology church, right, or self-improvement place, because I was referred to an influencer and a past mentor. And one of the things that I learned there was the reactive mind. And I'm not a Scientologist, but I've studied it. And the reactive mind makes you react to past things that happened to you. So I remembered. That's the biggest thing that I learned from there. That when you're in elementary and kids start making fun of your accent, you get put on special ed, you get bullied. That stays with you. Then in middle school, you can't get girls, you get pimples, you're super skinny, people make fun of you. That affects you. So when you grow, you're a very insecure guy. Like I was a very insecure guy, and then I had to go back and kind of clean all that up, forget about it, and remember that I was a kid again. And then when I was a kid again, kids believe they could do anything. Like, for example, like Italia, when she was a little baby, Berlin's my little daughter. She's 8 months. She doesn't ask still, Mommy, can I give some milk? She's like, give me that tit. And she cries until she gets that tit. And then guess what? Like, she's not scared. They're fearless. Your little girls, look at how fearless they are. Like, they're jumping up and down. And kids are like that until somebody makes them insecure. So when I grew up, I got past that, and then I started making money. I started making sales. I worked on all my weaknesses. I started working out and all this stuff, reading books, reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and more books. So I made a lot of money in the mortgage business, only to lose everything 2008 and become homeless. And I was with a lot of girls. I was good with the ladies, just like you. Maybe not as good as you, but pretty close. It would be a battle that maybe we could go back and compare. But 2008, I lose everything, and the only girl that I want to rescue is my now wife, Sil. She stayed in that Ford Explorer for 2 months with me, and we had nothing but the Ford. So we're pretty much homeless, but kind of not homeless because we did have the Ford Explorer to sleep
And you did sleep in it.
for 2 months. I didn't quit the mortgage business. So the mortgage industry, I stayed. And then eventually every month got a little bit better. And then I got out of that Ford Explorer. And then every year I improved.
Why didn't you just go home to your parents' house?
Because they always told me that the mortgage, getting in real estate and mortgage was a big mistake. And that it was dangerous. I could lose everything. And I did. So I didn't want to go back to them and tell them you were right. I lost everything.
What'd they want you to do?
They wanted me to get a degree and go to school.
Degree in what?
Anything. Because that's the thing to do. As
Just go to college.
yeah, for us Hispanics, you just have to go to college and get a degree and make your 60 grand, 70 grand a year.
Where did you grow up?
Echo Park,
And how old?
downtown LA.
Born here?
I was born here, but my parents only knew Spanish. So it was like I was like full Mexican from Mexico. They were from Mexico City, so they taught me Spanish. So when I went to the first grade, I knew absolutely no English, just Spanish.
Because they didn't.
Yeah,
What'd your dad do?
painter.
And your mom?
She was a teacher assistant, elementary school.
And they're both still alive?
Mm-hmm.
How many brothers and sisters?
Just one brother, 7 years apart.